the corporate center. In many of these traditional organizations, they are big bastions of bureaucracy, inflated. I mean, who knows what happens really there apart from long committee meetings and so forth. In the model you just described, how is what I would traditionally call this the corporate center, how is that redefined? What does it do now?
So they kind of break that center up into like lots of smaller entities within the organization and give them a lot of space, a lot of autonomy to do their part of the work according to how they see things. So there's a lot less focus on giving directions from the top. There is a very clear idea of where the company wants to go, and that most of the time still comes from a top management or a senior leadership team. But then there's a whole network of all kinds of multidisciplinary teams in many cases that are fully responsible for a certain part of the business. So a certain client or, for example, a certain region or product. And then they run that team as if it's a separate business. So there's full autonomy or near full autonomy in those decentralized teams.
And I guess they have clarity about the contribution they're expected to make over a period of time to the overall entity.
Yeah, and this is where the power of transparency comes into play. If you have this network of teams, it's very important for those teams to understand how they are performing. If there's a lot of similar teams in the organization, it's easy to see how you're performing compared to others. And so many of these progressive companies have sort of league tables where they can see how certain teams are performing compared to others on a couple of basic important benchmarks. And this is key, right? If you want people to self-manage and self-organize, you also need to understand how are we actually doing? How are we performing? And if we're underperforming, what can we learn from teams that are higher performing, and the other way around? If we are doing very well, how can we support other teams in the organization to step up? So this transparency is vitally important.